You see what I'm saying? Like this, like how fucked up is this that you did, man? Like, and watching that video, you know, I felt as if, and all the brothers that was in the video, you know, I'm new coming to the camp, like, damn, it's kind of harsh. But now, you know, thinking about it and looking at the severity of this is like some real, like serious nigga shit, man. It's just, it's horrible because like we in a rehab facility, you know. I keep using all these different analogies because, you know, these are so-called dire situations in the world where people would see, you know, you don't do no shit like that. You don't go to no drug rehab and somebody who done spent, you know, their whole course time in there and they finally recovering. As soon as they get out, you don't take them back to the shit that they was in. You know what I'm saying? So it says, verse 14 again. Even so it is not the will of your Father which is in heaven that one of these little ones should perish. Verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained a brother, you know. And there's order in Israel, and I'm sure that happened. You know, they consulted and did everything by order, you know. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. Okay, so have counsel about it, you know. There's an order to this, you know, and I'm pretty sure that the procedures was followed. Verse 17. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it to the church. Okay, so that's why that live stream went out, you know. It was broadcast to the whole church and to the whole body of what was going on, you know, because, man, we went through the certain procedures and certain steps. Okay, you done fucked up the first time, you didn't hear it, you neglected it. Okay, you know, face to face, one on one, you neglected it. Now in the presence of 2 or 3 witnesses, okay, you neglected it. Now we're gonna bring you before the whole congregation because now it's just judgment time. So it says, and if he neglect to hear to them, tell it to the church. But if he neglect to hear to the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man or a publican. Okay, and that's why he was casted out like that. That's why he basically is just as good as Esau on the same level, because Esau out here trying to destroy the elect, you know, of Israel. And what is this low life doing? The same thing, trying to destroy Israel, you know. These brothers, man, talking about the housings that they had them in. We already in fucked up situations, you know. And when brothers trying to come together and be a crutch for each other, and you put them in a fucked up situation while you want to be all high and mighty, being the king on this side, having, not gonna go into your personal life, but you just know the shit you was doing, you know, exalting yourself while these other brothers out here starving. You supposed to be feeding them, and you got them out there starving. You taking everything in, and you just eating with your gluttonous stomach, you know. It says, I'll read that one more time. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it to the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican. So it was in righteousness how the elders was rebuking him. Okay, verse 18. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever it shall be loosed on earth, it shall be loosed in heaven. Verse 19. And again I say unto you, that if 2 of you shall agree on earth as touching anything they shall ask, it shall be done of them of my Father which is in heaven. And if 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. Okay, so right now you have predominantly everybody in the house of David right now that's in an uproar over this, because especially the brothers been in this truth a lot longer, you know, on a way higher level. You know, the sacrifices and the work that they've been putting through to uphold a good and clean name, you know, that's to be held up above all things, all other things, like the scripture says, a good name. You know, we did so much to do everything in righteousness and to keep a good name, and you gonna go out there and fuck it up like that and bringing a bad name onto us, you know. And it's already, it's already hard enough trying to it's not really hard enough to walk a fine line and being a good representation. That shouldn't be grievous to you, but at the same time, you know, there's a lot of different things that's people taking hits at us, you know, and you know, as long as you're doing the things in truth and sincerity, those type of things, they don't stick. It's like Teflon, you know. It's like the rape doctrine type of thing, you know. People say stuff like that. Okay, well, fuck it. You believe that, you know, we rapists at GMS, pull up an account, you know. let's go on the internet and pull out public records. Okay, why is everybody publicly saying this on, over the internet, calling us all rapists and stuff like that, talking about we raping little girls and stuff, but yet we still out here and the police ain't saying shit about it. Nobody has any case. Where's the victims at? Why isn't nobody pressing charges? I'm pretty sure, I know for me, my damn self, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I couldn't put somebody to death for the scenario, at least the law would be involved if somebody was to rape my 12-year-old daughter. I don't have any kids, but, nevertheless, to say something like that would be happening, I wouldn't just let this guy be out on YouTube. So we already got to deal with things like that. But now something from ones that was among us fleecing the flock like that, that's a fucked up image on us. You giving the enemy and Esau more fuel for the fire. We supposed to be a strong bond. We supposed to be many members but one body. And you going off like that completely, a little leaven the whole lump. You fucking up the whole body. You know what I'm saying? You gotta a little bit of you did tainted just a little bit of the body. And now it's starting to spread. Well, we got to cut it off before it to start to spread. You know what I'm saying? Actually, that was it in that precept. But, just going back into the topic at hand, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is something to examine yourself on, and every move and everything you do, you always got to examine yourself in the things you do, because, again, you're an ambassador for Yahweh Shai, you don't really understand the things that you went to, Like I told the brothers that's in the camp with me when I first got with them, I told, I had to break it down to them, I had to let them know who they were and the positions that they were, and how the people and truth and sincerity on the other side of the screen and on the other side of the fence viewed them, And I told them, I was like, what, it's a beautiful thing that y'all brothers out there doing. You sacrificing your life out there on the highways and the byways for me. Somebody you don't even know. And like I said, when we come into this truth, man, we all fucked up. I'm out here being a nigga and shit in the streets, but you out here got the love for me. You out here on the highways and the byways and the rain, sleet, snow, preaching one day that I walk by and be edified by this, whether it be 1 year, 2 years, 30 years that you out there preaching the word for me. Man, the apostles and the elders been out there preaching, preaching this word longer than I've been living, and going off a little bit, just being selfish for myself, just think about that. Put yourself in the shoes. Just say that for yourself, that the apostles been out there looking for you this whole time, trying to build you up and fix you the whole time since before you was even born. Think about the things that they had to go through and the sacrifices they had to make for you. That's true love, and like I was telling the brothers, like you don't know, I don't know if you realize, the position you in and what you really doing. You like a real father figure. You're gonna be the new, like the scripture say, you're gonna be a kingdom, kings and priests. You're gonna be the top echelons, and you're gonna be the top role models. You're gonna have a big responsibility, more or less, to say. You're gonna be like a father raising up these kids who gonna wind up doing something great, more or less, to say, as an analogy. You got a big responsibility, and you don't. There's no room for slacking and going off. You're supposed to be a good representation. Again, I can't try to find the right word, so I'll just use, you got a big responsibility. You got a lot on your plate, and you always got to be a good ambassador or a good spokesperson, a good sponsor, just like in the world of entertainment, you have people like NASCAR drivers, let's say, for instance, or sport players who got certain endorsements. They can't do certain things, if whatever NASCAR driver has whatever logo on his car, let's say NASCAR driver whose name is Chuck D, roughly paraphrasing, drives the Coca-Cola car, and this guy, or let's say he's driving some car that's promoting some kind of healthy lifestyle, right? And now you see him out here making a whole lot of unhealthy choices. But then you looking at him like, wait a minute, but you represent this company, you a sponsor to this company that promote this good healthy living, and I see you in the world and you doing all this stuff that's counterintuitive to what you promoting. I don't know what to believe now. The Most High ain't the author of confusion. So again, if you out here preaching this truth and sincerity, don't be hearers of the word, but apply the scriptures. Be a doer as well. Be a doer, not just hearers of this word. Apply the things that you're teaching. Because if you out here teaching, you're supposed to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and you over here getting lineups and shit like that. Like, the people that you teaching, you know, some young brothers coming into the truth, they can be like, okay, how am I supposed to believe you when you out here going off doing some counterintuitive, you know? Maybe you don't take this as serious as you know you say you should, so I'm not gonna take it as serious. And now if I go out there and start teaching, and I'm teaching like that, then look at the flock that we're raising up, all because of your mistakes, all because you want to half-ass some shit, you know? You're supposed to, roughly paraphrasing, your body's supposed to be a living sacrifice, you know? You're supposed to be sacrificing certain things and stuff like that, you know? Again, so if you was somebody in so-called entertainment business, you know, and you sponsoring something, or you sponsored by a certain somebody, you got to sacrifice certain things. You sponsored by Coca-Cola, but your favorite drink is Pepsi. You better not be caught in public drinking no Pepsi, you know? You got to sacrifice certain things like that. So, with that being said, this is going on a little bit long, but, you know, trying to hold, you know, my composure instead of just going off on this dude. So this shit just, not shit, but this lesson just be edifying, you know? Showing you the importance and the severity of this, and how important it is, you know, for you to examine yourself no matter what position you are in, whether you're the lowest guy or the highest guy in there, because at all points and levels, you got somebody watching you for the different positions, you know? For you new brothers coming in, you got other new brothers that's watching you and like, okay, take, you know, because you the so-called God book, you know? You know, the scriptures is our God book, you know, but to see it being played out, you know, in real life, we the how does the scripture say? More or less say, you the living sacrifice, you that vessel, you that example, you know? Like the scriptures say, you go out and do the work, you know? Yeah, the scriptures say that, but when you actually see somebody on the highways and the byways actually doing the work, we actually fit these prophecies, you know? You start to see these things come to pass. Go out and tell my people their transgressions. Okay, now you see them on the highways and the byways, you know, doing showing them their transgressions. Take ye 2 sticks, one for Ephraim, one for Joseph. Now you go out there, you see the sign with the 12 tribes breakdown, you know? So you're supposed to be an example for, you know, for the things that you're doing. You're supposed to also be doing the things that you're reading, you know? So, like I said, with that being said, you know, you got to examine yourself daily and make sure that what you're doing is edifying to the body, whether it be you out there on the highways and the byways or just you and your normal walk in life, you know? You're supposed to always be preaching the word, whether you doing it directly or indirectly, you know? Like on your job. It's not wise to go to your job and preach this word, you know, straight out. But at the same time, you could preach this word all day long at your job and how do you say, obscurity, you know? You should be preaching this word at your job and your actions, you know? You shouldn't be trying to defraud people at work, even though, you know, you in captivity working for Esau, you know? You're not supposed to be half-assing shit, you know? You're supposed to be, you know, diligent in the things that you do, you know? You're supposed to be, you know, you basically the things that you're doing in the scripture, you know, you're supposed to be doing it out there as well, you know? Like the scripture say, roughly paraphrasing, wisdom gonna make your face, is gonna cause your face to shine, you know? So when your face is shining, you know, all this stuff is emulating out of your body, you know? And so the things that you do and the actions that you do, it would be springing forth from that. So, like, let's say you at work, right? And you a doer this word as well. So even though you have somebody, like for me at work, right? I got there's another Jake. Actually, he's one of the tribesmen. But he a 2/3, and this 2/3 always going off doing some wicked shit, you know? But at the same time, I could be repaying him evil unto evil, doing the same evil shit. But at the same time, it says, forgive those that trespass against thee, and also, you know, turn the other cheek type of deal, you know? And there's one other one, like, forgive thy enemy, you know? Those scriptures apply to your brother, you know? That type of stuff. Yeah, he a 2/3, and he gonna be destroyed for all that, you know, unless the Most High, you know, show favor unto him and you know, bring him into the fold. But nevertheless, you know, I could be going back, spitting fire back in his face, but that's not edifying, you know? People are way more edified by the fact of just seeing you through your actions. People at my job don't know, you know, necessarily about this truth, but they can tell there's something different about me. They're like, you know, they always say something more or less, you know, about me, talking about my character. You know, you did this, you did that. And I had an Edomite at my job, you know. He probably isn't an Edomite, he probably confused in the face, but he told me one day, he said, and he's a way older guy than me. He's like, you know, you changed my life. You told me something one day that changed my life. And, you know, I was indirectly preaching the word to him, you know. He kind of made me mad about something trying to tell us we was all equal and shit like that, you know. And this is going on a lot of different shit with the race stuff, you know, and what they call so-called white privilege and stuff like that. They got the privilege to not have to think about being in nobody else's shoes and stuff. And I had to tell them, pump the brakes, bro. Like, you know, we not all on the same level, you know. And, you know, it was kind of twofold, because actually we not on the same level according to Deuteronomy 7:6. We, you know, we are holy people above all other people on the face of the earth, you know. But, you know, in a worldly sense, dealing with what I'm dealing with at work, you know, I'm in the engineering field, you know, and by no means am I qualified on paper to be an engineer. You know, I didn't go to school for engineering, or mechanically inclined. I couldn't even tell you tool sizes and stuff like that. But, you know I'm smart enough to know, all right, if it fit, it fit. If it don't fit, it don't fit. We got to go either bigger, smaller. If it don't go this way, it got to go that way. If this don't work, it got to go that way, you know. And there's a lot of things in the scripture that help me do my job, you know. The Most High is about balance, so you got to balance yourself out at work. And my job, a lot of my job has to deal with balance, you know. But at the same time, this guy at my job was telling me I changed his life by something I said to him. I was like, yo, we not all created equally. You know, I didn't have my father in the household to teach me about tools and parts and this and that. I didn't have nobody teach me about none of this. I didn't have nobody, you know, especially at my job. I was growing up in the truth along with my job, and I was realizing all the things that I was lacking in life, and all the discipline and structure, you know, that I was missing, you know, and how important that a real father figure in a man's life would be, you know. And I had to break it down to him, like, yo, man, I basically ain't have none of this shit, you know. I was fucked up coming into all of this stuff, you know. I don't got nobody to support me. I got to get all, you know, and tell him, you know, directly, you know, the Most High is the one that provides for us, but you know, I ain't got nothing. You know, I don't got the things you got. Your father, this and that. We not all created equal. You know, sometimes some of us got to get it a little different way. You know, and me telling him that was indirectly preaching to him. You know, from the things that I'm living in. You know, like I said, this wisdom is gonna cause your face to shine, and other people gonna be edified by that. You're gonna be a light into the world. You know. You're supposed to cause your light to shine into the world. People are supposed to look at you and be like, damn, another scripture just came to mind. You know, they're going to know, roughly paraphrasing, they're going to know my servants by the love that they have for one another, you know. You're going to be able to see in your actions that there's something different about these people. You know, these people out here, they fighting for truth. Why are you so hardcore about these people and these GMOs? Because we tired of people getting killed off of this food. You're not supposed to be dying off the food you eating, you know. Why are you, you know, just the different things that we do. I'm kind of going on and on and on now, but like just kind of the different things that we do, you know what I'm saying, is how do I say it, it shows in our actions, you know. So you always got to examine yourself in the actions that you're doing, because you could be you definitely a role model to other people, you know. Just like these rappers and stuff, and Lil Wayne and stuff. The things that Lil Wayne do, you see it be taking effect on these young kids. If Lil Wayne was supposed to start, just like Kendrick Lamar said, don't call me black no more, I'm an Israelite. Now the young people want to, you know, do that little deal. So at the same time, you got to examine yourself and watch the things you're doing, because you got a lot of people looking up to you, whether you know it or not. You know, there's a lot of other brothers on the other side of the screen, you know, and you're supposed to be edifying to them. You're supposed to be like a so-called father figure to them, to raise them up and bring them back to the Father and to His Son. You know, you're supposed to be fishing the elect and bringing them back up, building them back up, putting that skin back on their flesh, building that exceedingly great army. But you got them going to a boot camp and you ain't training them on shit. Now they going to the battlefield, they about to get fucked over. And this is what you're doing to these brothers' spirits, and these brothers, like you just basically fucking their soul up, you know. And that's a dangerous place to be. It's a dangerous thing to fall into the hands of the living power, you know. And with that, I'm gonna close this here lesson out. But I want to say, you know, just always examine yourself and the actions that you do, and just always think of yourself as always being on camera. You know, you never know who's watching you and the things that you're doing, and what brothers might be watching you. You know. So with that, I want to say, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone and rule world, and peace and love to you brothers that's pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Okay, and you keep doing what you're doing out there. And make sure that your actions is pleasing to the Most High, and that your actions, again, is something that, you know, a father would be, how he would act in front of his son. You don't want to be shooting up in front of your son and your son grow to be a heroin addict, you know. With that, I want to say shalom.